So welcome to this our third lecture of the classical mechanics. As you know, from the last few days we were discussing about the first chapter of the paper number 15, that is the classical mechanics. Many introductory article and many concept, holonomic constant, constraint, non-holonomic constant, and then example, etc. we have seen in the last period, isn't it? Now here today we are going to see few more articles depending on this particular chapter of the classical mechanics. Let me share my screen first. As you know, can you see my screen, please?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So this is our third lecture on the classical mechanics. In this lecture, we are going to consider about the generalized coordinates, transformation equation, principle of the virtual work, and the summary of the lecture. As all of you are familiar with the fact that we were discussing about a particle which is moving according to the Newton's law of mechanics. Since from the beginning of this particular chapter, I am telling you that during this entire chapter, our part of concentration is the particle, which is moving from one place to the another place according to the Newtonian mechanics. That means it is having the mass, it is having the velocity, it is having the displacement, and all the terms and concepts which are associated with the classical mechanics or which are associated with the Newton's law are related to that particular particle. So in the series of the same one, the next article that we are going to consider is the generalized coordinates. Now, before going to the definition of the generalized coordinates, let me define about the coordinates. As all of you are very much familiar with the graph, Alek, or in Urdu you are calling as Tarsim. There is the x-axis, y-axis, am I correct? Along x-axis, right side there is a positive value. To the left side there is a negative value. On the upper side there is a y-axis positive and below y-axis negative. What is this indicating? This is indicating the position of the particle at a certain time, and that is called as the Cartesian coordinate system. That means when the particle it is moving in the space, जब कोई particle space में move करता तो हमको हमारे लिए जरूरी है कि हम उसकी position बताएं, उसको specify करें. And in order to specify the position of the moving particle in the space, we need of the coordinate system. And the simplest and well famous coordinate system which is generally used, it is the Cartesian coordinate system. That is x, y, and z. In your 11th standard, 12th standard, you have already defined the coordinate 110 in bracket 110, 011, 213. What you indicate from that one? When you are doing 11, you understand that along x-axis there is a one value, along y-axis there is a one value, and you are plotting the graph. That system in which there is the x, y, and z coordinate, that system of coordinate, it is called as the Cartesian coordinate system. But the Cartesian coordinate system is applicable to which motion? When the particle it is moving linearly. That means when the motion of the particle it is the linear motion, at that time the Cartesian coordinate system can be applied. But we know motions is not always linear. Sometimes motion is on the circumference of the circle. That means the spherical motion is also there for the particle, and when the particle performs the spherical motion, at that time the coordinates required to represent the position of that moving particle, it is not a Cartesian coordinate, it is not the Cartesian coordinate system, but it is the spherical polar coordinate system. And for the spherical polar coordinate system, what are the coordinates? This time x, y, z are not there, but the coordinates are r, theta, and phi, where r is the position vector, theta is the angle, and so on. One more coordinate system is there, which is no doubt very less used, and another system of coordinate which is used to specify the position of the particle, it is the cylindrical polar coordinate system. These are the three important coordinate systems, traditional coordinate systems, which are used to specify the position of the particle which is moving from one place to another place in the space. But in addition to these three coordinates, there is another set of independent coordinates other than Cartesian coordinates, which are generally used to specify and ambiguously the system of configuration. And that coordinates other than Cartesian coordinate, यानी कि Cartesian coordinate के अलावा एक ऐसे set of coordinate जो किसी particle को specify करने के लिए इस्तेमाल होते हो, that coordinates are called as generalized coordinates. These are called as generalized coordinate. Yani कि when the particle it is moving in the space, in addition to Cartesian coordinate x, y, z, a particular type of coordinates or a set of coordinates are used to specify unambiguously the system of configuration of that moving particle. Then that set of coordinates is called as the generalized coordinates. As in the Cartesian coordinates, coordinates are denoted as x, y, z. Here in the generalized coordinates are denoted by the symbol Q1, Q2, Q3, so on, Qk and Qf. जैसे कि Q1, Q2, Q3 रहता है, XYZ रहता है, ऐसे यहाँ Q1, Q2, Q3, Qk and Qf. And what is Qf here? Qf is the number of generalized coordinates. Total कितने coordinate? Q1 1, Q1 2, Q1 3, Q1 4 and Qf. Total F number of coordinates, generalized coordinates are there. And this F is also called as the total degrees of freedom. That means these are the number of ways by which the particle can move in the space. Can you getting please? Now transformation equation. Have you understood the generalized coordinates? Anybody can unmute and tell me yes or no. Have you got please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now let us go to the transformation equation. Generalized coordinate कुछ नहीं है बल्कि कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट से हटके कोई और कोऑर्डिनेट जो पार्टिकल की पोजीशन को स्पेसिफाई करने के वास्ते इस्तेमाल होते हो, दैट आर कॉल्ड एज द जनरलाइज्ड कोऑर्डिनेट्स. Cartesian coordinates are denoted by x, y, z and so on, but the generalized coordinates are denoted by q1, q2, q3 and so on. This is the definition of the generalized coordinates. Now transformation equation. Transformation equation is also very simple. Now just I have told you that in the Cartesian coordinate system, to specify the position of the particle, the coordinate used are x, y and z. That means x, y, z are the function of the x, y, z can maybe function of general coordinates q1, q2, q3 and q1. Yani कि a relation between the Cartesian coordinates and the generalized coordinates, that equation is nothing but it is given by this formula xi, that is the x coordinate or along the x direction. Xi is equals to function of x. X किसका Cartesian coordinate किसका function है? Function of coordinate, generalized coordinates. कौन से? X of, जैसा f of x बोलते ना, वैसा xi of q1, q2, q3 and qf, and t is the time coordinate. You are knowing ये q1, q2, q3, qk, qf are the position coordinates and t is the time coordinates. उसी तरह similarly y1 is the function of y of q1, q2, q3, qq, qf and t, where t is the time coordinate. That means this is nothing but this is the relation of the Cartesian coordinate in terms of generalized coordinates. And if simple is the r1 is the position vector of the ith particle, then ri is equal to, as you know, I xi plus jyj plus kjz and so on. And that's why the above these three equations in general may be written as ri is equals to q1, q2, q3, qk, qf and so on. And these equation 1 and 2 are nothing but this is the relation between the generalized coordinates and the Cartesian coordinates. And these equations are nothing but equation 1 and 2 both, of course, nothing but it is called as the transformation equation. Or in a simple one line you can say that a relation of the generalized coordinates and the Cartesian coordinates is called as transformation equation. A equation which relates the Cartesian coordinates x, y, z and generalized coordinates q1, q2, q3, qk, qf and t, that equation is called as transformation equation. Even though here we are just saying the definition of the generalized coordinates, no doubt here I am just defining the transformation equation. Here we are just having the clearance of the concept, not detailed study of the transformation equation, not very much to say about the generalized coordinates, but these generalized coordinates, these transformation equations we have to use in our next article, in which we are going to derive about the Lagrangian equation. So let me explain in very detail, and I am interested to make it very clear that you should have the clear idea about the generalized coordinates and transformation equation. So transformation equation in short, what is this? This is the equation which tells, which defines the relation of the generalized coordinates and which coordinate? Cartesian coordinate. That is x of q1, q2, q3, qf, qt, or y is equal to y of q1, q2, q3, qf, qt, and so on. Or in general, r is equals to q1, q2, q3, qk, qf, and t. This equation 1 and 2 are nothing but these are called as the transformation equation. Have you got all of you, please, those who are present, all these two concept, generalized equation or generalized coordinates and transformation equation, please? Anybody can
Yes.
unmute and tell me. Have you got, please?
Yes, sir, got it.
So now I will go to the next article, principle of virtual work. Now, since from the beginning I am telling you that in this particular chapter we are dealing with the particle, or we are also dealing with a system of particle. एक सिंगल पार्टिकल कंसीडर कर रहे, उसकी मोशन कंसीडर कर रहे, उसका एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाना कंसीडर कर रहे, या साइमल्टेनियसली वी कैन आल्सो कंसीडर ए सिस्टम of particles which is made up of large number of particles. Now in that case, in order to investigate the properties of system किसकी बनी हुई है? Large number of particles की. We can imagine an arbitrary instantaneous change in the position vector of the particle. When the single particle it is moving, position vector you are knowing. इसको बोलते position vector. Position vector is nothing but it is a line drawn from the center to the moving particle. So single particle is there. For the first particle radius vector is r1. For the second particle radius vector is r2. For the third particle radius vector is, yeah, position vector is r3. But instead of a single particle, the system is there and it is consisting of large many particles. Then the position vector of the ith particle or large many particle can be given. That means at that time the position vector of the particle, it is a virtual displacement. यानी कि एक पार्टिकल दूसरी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जा रहा, at that time it is very easy for us to tell, but particle is not single but it is a system, and system is consisting of large many particles. Then at that time the position vector of the particles, किसके particles of the system, they are example, it is a virtual displacement. That means we are not knowing very well that कहां से कहां, virtual समझता ना, virtual lecture यानी कि कहां से कहां तक जा रही है, imaginary displacement is there. And that at that time infinite virtual displacement of the ith particle, 1 2 3 4 बहुत पार्टिकल है, तो ith particle जो कि n particles मौजूद है, सिस्टम में कितने particles है, 1 2 3 4 ith n particles are there. So at that time the infinite virtual displacement of the ith particle, it can be denoted, पहले particle का displacement is r1, second particle का displacement is r2, third particle is having the displacement r3. That's why the displacement, and that displacement is now called as the virtual displacement, because system is consisting of large many particles. Therefore the virtual displacement of the ith particle, it is denoted by the symbol delta r, isn't it? And therefore if delta r is the displacement, virtual displacement of course, remember the term virtual, क्योंकि सिस्टम बहुत सारे पार्टिकल के एक जगह से दूसरी जगह का जाने का डिस्प्लेसमेंट, इट इज द वर्चुअल डिस्प्लेसमेंट, एंड देयरफॉर दिस इज द डिस्प्लेसमेंट ऑफ द पोजीशन वेक्टर कोऑर्डिनेट, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट डज नॉट इन्वॉल्व द वेरिएशन इन टाइम, एंड देयरफॉर डेल्टा आर आई यानी कि डिस्प्लेसमेंट ऑफ द ith पार्टिकल, इट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ जनरलाइज्ड कोऑर्डिनेट, इट शुड द फंक्शन ऑफ q1 q2 q3 एंड qn. देयर इज नो टाइम फैक्टर एट ऑल. एंड सपोज द सिस्टम इज इन इक्विलिब्रियम, यानी कि इक्विलिब्रियम में है, इसका मतलब the total force acting on any particle is 0. That means that system it is not acted by the external force. That means system is the equilibrium. Whatever the force is there, it is inside. अंदर से कुव्वत है, बाहर से कोई सिस्टम नहीं है, सिस्टम इक्विलिब्रियम में है. That means system in is equilibrium means total external force acting on this system of particle, it is 0. And ultimately if it is so, force is 0, then force is 0 means force acting on the ith particle is also 0. That is Fi is equals to 0, where Fi means F1 force acting on the first particle, F2 force acting on the second particle, Fi force acting on the ith particle, and therefore in general we can say each and every particle of the system does not acted by any force. That means in general we can summarize Fi is equals to 0. Force acting on the ith particle, all ith particles of the system is equal to 0, where I goes to 1 2 3 and so on. And therefore if the force acting on the ith particle is 0, then virtual work, क्योंकि work तो किसका है, force into displacement, and therefore the virtual work of the force Fi in the virtual displacement delta r, it will be 0, क्योंकि फोर्स इंटू डिस्प्लेसमेंट एक फैक्टर 0 है, ये जरब में है, लिहाजा डेल्टा डब्ल्यू आई टोटल वर्क डन बाय द ith पार्टिकल इन मूविंग इन द सिस्टम ऑफ पार्टिकल फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अनदर प्लेस, इट इज एफ आई डेल्टा आर इज इक्वल टू 0। क्योंकि एफ आई 0 है, अभी बता दिए ऊपर, डेल्टा आर अगर है भी वर्चुअल डिस्प्लेसमेंट तो वो कुछ भी हो, लेकिन फोर्स बाहर से 0 है, लिहाजा वर्क इज इक्वल टू 0। एंड दिस वर्क नाउ दिस इज द फॉर ith पार्टिकल, लेकिन खाली ith पार्टिकल है के अंदर, नो, पार्टिकल इज 1 2 3 4 I J K L n number of particles are there, therefore similarly the total sum of the virtual work of all the particle, it should be how much? ith पार्टिकल का वर्क 0 है, सिस्टम ऐसे कई ith पार्टिकल की मीन की बनी हुई है, तो पूरे सिस्टम के पूरे पार्टिकल का वर्क कितना होगा प्लीज? एनीबॉडी प्लीज अनम्यूट एंड टेल मी।
0.
It will be 0, isn't it? And that's why similarly sum of the virtual work of all the particles must vanish, 0 must vanish, and that means mathematically how I can write delta W should be equal to summation, once again I goes from 1 to n, क्योंकि ith पार्टिकल 1 से n तक, fi delta I should be equal to 0, यानी कि total work done by the system of particle when the virtual displacement is here, that work is equals to 0. That means this equation or this results represent the principle of virtual work. इसका मतलब वर्क तो हुआ, लेकिन कैसा वर्क हुआ? वर्चुअल वर्क हुआ। एंड क्या है वर्चुअल वर्क? लेट्स मी डिफाइन दिस रिजल्ट मीन दिस इक्वेशन, दिस रिजल्ट रिप्रेजेंट द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ वर्चुअल वर्क which states that, क्या स्टेट करती, क्या बयान करती? which state that the work done is 0 in case of an arbitrary virtual displacement of system from a position of equilibrium. That means when there is a system consisting of large many particles, and if the system is in equilibrium, then the total work done by this particle of that system is equals to 0, and this concept or this work comes as 0, it is nothing but it is called as the principle of virtual work. This is our article. Have you understand please, or may I repeat?
Yes sir, understand.
Have you got please? एक सिस्टम है,
got it. Yes sir.
एक सिस्टम है, large number of particles की बनी हुई है, isn't it? And the particles of these systems are under not any external force, therefore whatever the work done by the system of particle due to the equilibrium, total force on that all particle is equal to 0, therefore work done by the sum of virtual work or all this one is equals to 0, and this result represents the principle of virtual work, which states that the work done is 0 in case of any arbitrary virtual displacement of a system of particles, when the system of particle is in the position of equilibrium. Remember this word equilibrium. When the system is in equilibrium, then the total work done by the system of particle is equals to 0, and this concept is nothing but it is called as the principle of virtual work. And therefore the total force Fi on the ith particle, लिहाजा ith particle के ऊपर कितनी कुव्वतें काम कर रही है? Fi is equals to Fia plus small fi, where Fia it is the applied force, यानी जो कुव्वत उसको लगी थी बाहर से या उसके अंदर जो पैदा हुई थी, and Fi is the force of constant. Because remember one more thing, in the previous article I have told you that when the particle it is moving, whether it is moving inside the gas, whether it is moving inside the milk, whether it is moving on the any roll, that means the particle which is moving, it is acted by the two types of forces. One, it is the external force, and another is the force which is obtained due to the constraint. Constraint किसको बोला था मैंने? Constraint is the रुकावट, restriction on the limitation on the motion of particle. So whenever the particle it is moving, particle is exposed to the two types of forces. One is the applied force which we are applying, and another is the force which is developed in it due to the constraint. उसके ऊपर जो लिमिट है, उसके ऊपर जो बंधक है, उसके ऊपर जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन है कि बाहर नहीं निकलना, इधर नहीं गिरना, इस तरह के जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन है उसकी वजह से भी उसके ऊपर फोर्स रहती। देयरफॉर एक ith नंबर ऑफ पार्टिकल्स के ऊपर जो टोटल फोर्स काम करेगी वो कितने फोर्सेस रहेंगे? Two forces are there. One, it is the applied force which we are denoting in this equation by Fia, and another is the force of constraint. But hence the equation of, लेकिन ऊपर की इक्वेशन कैसी है? फिर एक बार समेशन, लिहाजा ऊपर की ये इक्वेशन को हम कैसा लिख सकते? पहले इक्वेशन की फोर्स समेशन I goes from 1 to Fi dri, this one, is equal to summation of this force, यानी कि summation of applied force on the ith particle plus summation of constant force on the ith particle. But we restrict ourselves to the system of virtual work of the forces. यानी कि we are already telling that this force is equal to 0 because no external work is done. There no external applied force is there. When there is no external applied force, this term is coming 0. When this term is coming 0, because we have restrict ourselves, then हमने अपने आप को किसके लिए महदूद कर लिया? To the system where virtual work of the forces of constant is 0. And that's why if it is equal to 0, then in case of the rigid body also, summation I goes from n to n, f dri is equals to 0 for equilibrium of the system, and virtual force is equal to 0. I understand? So this is nothing but these are the three important articles that I would like to explain here. Have you got, please? What was the first article I have explained here? Generalized coordinates. Isn't it, please? I will summarize my lecture. Generalized coordinate, isn't it? क्या है generalized coordinate? Generalized coordinates are the system of coordinates which are used to explain the to specify the position of a moving particle other than Cartesian coordinates. Cartesian coordinates से other than, उससे अलावा जो coordinates हैं जो particle को specify करने के लिए इस्तेमाल होते हैं, that coordinates are called as generalized coordinates. They are denoted by x1, they are denoted by q1, q2, q3 and qk, so on. qf, where f is the degree of freedom. Now Cartesian coordinates are the basic coordinates of the system or particle's motion, and therefore a relation is there, an equation is defined which gives the relation between the Cartesian coordinates and the generalized coordinates, and that equation is called as transformation equation, that x of I is equals to x of q1, q2, q3, qf and t, where y of I is the function of generalized coordinates q1, q2, q3 and so on. That is called as the transformation equation. And the last term which I have defined here, which is the most important, that is called as the principle of virtual work. That means we restrict ourselves to a system of particles, and at that time the motion of the system of particle, at that time the virtual displacement is there where the particle is in motion. The displacement is virtual, therefore the work done by the system of particle when the external force acting on is equals to 0, then work done is equals to 0, and that work is nothing but that equation that has come here, that delta w is equals to summation I goes from 1 to n f dot delta r. This equation, अगर आपको MCQs में पूछा जाए कि what is the principle of virtual work, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ वर्चुअल का MCQs क्वेश्चन अगर रहा तो वर्चुअल MCQs में डेल्टा W यानी कि टोटल वर्क डन बाय द सिस्टम of a particle is equals to summation I goes from n to n fi delta ri is equals to 0. This is the formula, or this is the principle of virtual work, which states that the work done is 0. किसमें 0? In case of the arbitrary virtual displacement of the system or position of the equilibrium, and this is called as the system of particle in which there is a particles are moving according to the Newtonian mechanics. They are having the generalized coordinates q1, q2, q3 and so on, and the virtual displacement is measured. At that time the total force of the ith particle is equals to 0, and therefore the work done by the ith particle first we obtain is equal to 0. Therefore total work done by the particles in case when the system is in equilibrium is found to be equal to 0, and the total force acting on the particle is consisting of two forces. One is the force which is applied force, and another is the force of constant. One more concept you must remember for the further lectures, कि किसी भी moving particle के ऊपर, because it is a free motion, हम कौन से particle consider कर रहे? We are considering a particle which is moving freely. That means motion of the particle, it is the free motion, and when the motion of the particle is free, then the two types of forces are acting on that particle at the time of motion. One, it is the applied force, and another is the force which is on the particle due to its constraint. Because in the previous article we have already defined that the free particle which is moving had some limitations, had some restriction, and that restriction on the motion of that free particle, it is called as the constraint. तो एक particle के ऊपर दो किस्म की क़ुव्वतें रहती, एक force which is the applied force, and another force it is the force due to its constraint. उसके ऊपर जो लिमिटेशंस है, उसके ऊपर जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन जो आ जाता है, उसकी वजह से भी एक फोर्स उसके ऊपर या टेंशन उसके ऊपर क्रिएट हो जाता है, एंड दैट फोर्स इट इज कॉल्ड एज द फोर्स ऑफ कंस्ट्रेंट. एंड इन दैट इक्वेशन वी हैव सीन दैट both these equations are coming to the zero. That means total work is equal to zero. And cup for equilibrium of the system, virtual work of the force is equals to zero. That is called as the principle of virtual work. So you remember hereafter, whenever you need this equation, principle of virtual work, so what you will shed, what you can say, summation I goes from n to n, f to delta r is equals to zero. So we shall stop here today. Thank you for joining me. In the next period, inshallah, we will see the D'Alembert's principle and so on. All of you have got, please. All of you have got. सबको समझ में आ गया?
Yes, sir.
So we
Yes,
shall
sir.
stop here today. Thank you for joining me. Have a nice